I'm Alina Luna, chair of the call department, but more importantly tonight, I'm an English professor. The students in English 494 Senior SEM did an impressive amount of work. Their portfolios are between 50 to 85 pages long and comprised of critical papers, reader responses, and creative pieces derived from the critical papers. I counted their pages in the front. You guys you produced about 700 pages this semester.
Oh, which you had to read.
The topic of the seminar was this concept of the fragment, which is actually more complex than many people think. So much of our lives are governed by these images of wholeness that we even equate them with perfection. But in so many better ways, what we see as parts are even beautiful in their brokenness. I want to thank all of you for coming to hear their creative pieces, which were inspired by those critical papers. And in the program summaries, in the programs that you have, there are summaries that give you a little bit of a breakdown and a context for what it is that they're reading. Many of you are here because you care about someone who will be on this stage. And many of you were invited because one of these students in the seminar sees you as a valued friend or mentor. I want to thank you for sharing in a celebration of who they are and what they've accomplished at Western before they move on to even better and more exciting adventures. Now here's the tough part, which is when I address you. To Dorothy, Ellie, Brad, Aaron, Laurel, Lauren, Sarah, Bailey, Sadie, and Mike, and by the way, that's about the way they sat in class. I know that there were times when you had no idea as to where I was going with things, or where I was trying to lead you. So I hope that you feel that your faith was well placed. I also want you to know that you are one of the reasons that I love my life. Always remember that if you take some wrong turns in the future, they will actually help to get you where you need to go. And if not, you can call me. I'm not going anywhere. I have the pleasure of introducing each of the topics that their creative pieces focus on, and their heroism, women, nature, contradictions, and philosophical questions. And the introduction to each topic is actually made up of lines from the creative pieces that comprise that section of readings. Tell me that you can't make art from art. I ask that you hold your applause until the writers of these pieces take a group bow at the end. We don't want to overtax you. Having to applaud 20 pieces is really too much to ask. We know that you know they're brilliant. So please hold your applause until they take their group bow at the end of each section. And there will also be a 10-minute intermission. Okay. So, let us begin. Do my first readers want to step off the stage? Heroism. You are declared a hero because your maneuvers are bigger and bolder than mine. But we are a team, you see him, you see me, dismissing guidelines and rules, auspiciously blessed, like gears in symbiosis with one another, the most perfect ecosystem created by man.
The tragic hero.
The tragic hero. A tragic hero is a main character who has a flaw that the audience feels pity for.
Alcoholic monster devised a fatal idea that persuaded a girl to absorb damage into an unshakable obsession. Threatened trials consumed a life that had unintentional effects upon others. They attempted to influence change, actualizing through others, construct an alternate life, discovering saviors from obsession. Cynicism fails, challenging the damage done to the girl, as she forms a new idea, terminating the man, the monster.
The comic hero. A comic hero is a supporting character who is willing to give up anything to help other characters.
Me? The comic hero? I reckon I know nothing of the sort. Is there comedy in helping someone? I just care for her. I care for Lena Grove.
Oh!
I made the decision to cross the entire state of Mississippi into the unknown territory, Tennessee, just so she could be happy. You know what? It didn't even matter if we were trying her baby's father. Find her baby's father. I forgot that part, didn't I? She was pregnant when I met her. I remember the day. I was working alone on a Saturday, just like every other weekend. It kept me from sinning. And she comes in, swole-bellied and glowing. She was looking for him. I know who she was talking about. That bootlegger Joe Brown. He was trouble. So what did I try to do? I tried to save her by lying to her. First lie I ever told, I'd like you to know. From that day on, I lied to save her dignity. Because I care for her. My life of celibacy, working 6 days a week and going to church on Sunday ain't mean nothing. All that mattered was her. So if that's comedy or makes me a comic hero, you have a sick sense of humor. Because I'm gonna marry her.
Apparent versus unapparent. An apparent hero is a character whose actions are recognized as heroic. An unapparent hero is quite the opposite.
You are visible. I am invisible. Opposites attracted into cycles of seen actions and covert consequences. You are declared a hero because your maneuvers are bigger and bolder than mine. I stand here unnoticed in a pit of attention-seeking behavior when every step you take creates challenges for me to live up to. I stand here as an understudy, taking in every technique that makes you strong. I am to learn these steps you have shown, but nothing I do will ever be good enough for them. So allow me to spin away from these cycles of opposing visibilities.
It's like he knew us, so burdened, yet alive. But why? What have we done? We're just here trying to survive, working till the drop of sun. They're used to it, status quo. No opposition, they flock together. No place to hide nor go. Oppressing us makes them better. Are we less than, inferior beings? 3/5, I guess, hasn't changed yet. It's something they aren't seeing. We're greater, auspiciously blessed. I am Jubal, Officer Weddle's servant. I have a coat, shoes, I deserve it. We are a team. You see him, you see me. White with black, now that's equality. I am Christmas, not white nor black. Self-control and identity, something I lack. Working the mills, staying appropriate. With Joanna dead, now I'm the culprit. I am Lil Mays, before the catch. No voice to speak, guilty by suspicion. Many lied, but Hawkshaw attached, innocent through his views and premonitions. We are the Gibsons, family of servants. Thrown into this life, never deserved it. Yet we are the glue, the foundation. The Comptons, without us, humiliation. Faulkner arose, our savior in voice, deflected the accepted, now we can rejoice. We have depth, substance, meaning, more than just flat beings. Equal ground, is Faulkner serious? I thought usually assumed delirious. Faulkner was insane, dismissing guidelines and rules. Something wrong with his brain, a man using his own tools. As he rose, we rose. With his opposition, we rose. With his text, we rose. We are alive, we can speak. With text so contrived, we are at our peak. Thanks to Faulkner, no longer depressed, there's new belief, no longer oppressed. He saw our spirits, but never stressed. We knew that he saw we were auspiciously blessed.
Clockwork. Have you ever seen a clock? Of course you have. I wish not to insult your intelligence, no matter how easy it may be. Now, have you seen the inside of the clock? The gears inside in symbiosis with one another, perhaps the most perfect ecosystem created by man. Enter the labyrinth and try to find your way out, and on your journey discover the unseen intricacies. How nice it must be to see things from inside a tunnel. I don't envy your bliss, your lack of periphery, for it is nothing but ignorance. You are a horse with blinders and a self-created bit. If I were to be controlled, at least I would be a rudder. Try to find meaning in that if you have the time. I find no beauty in the work of the professional poet, he who lives in luxury and is able to scribble his emotions in a diary of eloquence and present it to others who read it only to see what they can take for themselves. But the poetics of a shell found in the sands of the real. So write a poem about existentialism. He won't read it. He's busy in the lab. But don't you see? Every man has his place. When you read something that shakes you, don't tell me how you feel because I don't care. Let me see you respond to it. Haven't you ever seen a clock?